Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to a 24/7 news report. It's been quite a while since I've done a 24/7 news report. Been a lot going on today. Sean Dyche has finally been announced as the club manager after a full weekend of practically everyone knowing it was him and us basically just waiting to have him announced. He's been at Finch Farm twice for actually being announced as manager. We've also had, over the past few days, Anthony Gordon leave the club and things of other note. But if we get straight into the news today, we'll start off with Fabrizio Romano's report that Everton have submitted a £40 million plus £5 million add-on bid for Chelsea's Conor Gallagher. Straight away, when we saw this, Everton fans weren't happy. It's all of the Anthony Gordon money that we got when the club's in a position not really to spend money as it is, to then spend every little bit of money we have on Conor Gallagher. It's a bit of a mistake, and it's something that, could have cost us in the end, and I do think it would have been a silly move. He would fit the Sean Dyche system, offers a goal threat, really high pressing intensity, all these things that Sean Dyche probably does look for in a midfielder, but spending the entire budget on that midfielder when we're desperate for wingers and goals is probably one of the stupidest decisions the club could make and would harken back to the days of Big Steve Walsh in charge of the club. But I think coming from what else has come out in the news, we've seen that this may not be true. We've start off with that Chelsea were ready to sanction a £45 million bid, but Conor Gallagher does not want to join. Then that calls over to Craig Hope, who said Conor Gallagher wants to stay at Chelsea amid Everton's £45 million bid, but he could be tempted to leave by a club with European football or potential European football, such as Newcastle, with Eddie Howe said to be a big admirer of the midfielder. Then we move on to from at Mad Mirror on Twitter. Everton have not bid for Conor Gallagher. Two other clubs are ahead of Everton in the fight for Gallagher. Everton did make an initial inquiry, but learned that Gallagher's interest was elsewhere, so did not pursue. So what it sounds like is we may have made a 40 million plus 5 million bid inquiry about Gallagher, but we did not actually bid the money to Chelsea, which it's a good sign. I really don't think that would have been a good move for Everton at all. As I said, we did put something on the Toffee Blues Twitter. I believe this was attached to the Conor Gallagher tweet with Conor Gallagher is not interested in a move to Everton. That comes from Sky Sports. But if you have a look over at the thing we did put on Twitter, it was 41.3% yes, 23.2% no, and 30 maybe, and 35.5% no to Gallagher. Quite evenly split between yes and no, understandably. If you go off just the player, Conor Gallagher would be a fantastic player to have for England. I believe he has played some caps for England now, and he was at the World Cup squad, even though I don't know if you remember if he played or not. But yeah, I think Gallagher would be a fantastic signing in the summer when possible midfielders like Onana and people like Tom Davies and Gyökeres leave the club. Then yeah, bringing someone like Gallagher in would be a good move if we could tempt him. But right now, I think we should be looking at forward options at wingers, and I think that is basically what a lot of the rest of the news is about today. Everton have entered the race to sign Rennes winger Kamaldeen Sulemana. Southampton and PSV are also interested, with Rennes wanting 25 million euros. This is according to L'Equipe, which I believe is a French magazine. Sulemana is a weird one. Sulemana is a weird one. And before we get into that, at Fraz Fletcher on Twitter puts Sulemana has told Rennes that he would like to go and sign for Everton, playing in the Premier League. Talks are ongoing. Everton are trying to secure multiple signings in the next 48 hours. Sulemana's an interesting one. He's very good dribbler of the ball, 3.71 dribbles completed per 90. That does put him in the top 2% of all wingers in Europe, which means if we're going off his completed dribbles, he's one of the top dribblers in Europe, which is something Everton are dying out for, some dribbling ability, some ability to get forward. But it starts to unravel a little bit later on. Defensively, very hard worker, 2 tackles, 1.1 interceptions. Again, top 10% for wingers in Europe, which means in a Sean Dyche system where you are going to be tracking back a lot of the time, Sulemana would fit that. But he takes 3.21 shots per game, which is, for a winger, again, very, very good stats. But then you move into the fact that he's only got 1 goal in 14 Ligue 1 appearances, and you go, where is he taking these shots from? Is he got a real lack of end product? Is he going to get in the positions where you need to score goals? He's going to create goals. I do think that's important to mention. He will create goals, and that could help a striker like Calvert-Lewin and the other striker who we are going to sign, which we'll mention soon. But yeah, I don't really know what this is. David Ornstein also saying Everton have made a verbal offer on Sunday for Rennes winger Kamaldeen Sulemana. Rennes are wanting around 30 million euros for the deal to be done. That's from David Ornstein, so that's extra reliable. Almost definitely has happened if being reported by David Ornstein, which is good to see, but spending again 3/4, 2/3, sorry, of the Anthony Gordon money on one winger. If we can sign someone else for 15 million euros, great. I don't think we can, to be completely honest with you. And I think there's better options in the market of a winger, maybe from a less established league. And Sulemana has had success in past seasons with Rennes, but this season only one goal. He's having a bit of a drought himself this season. I think signing him now could be a mistake, but at the same time, a fresh new system could be all he needs to get firing again. And here's the news I'm quite excited about, and that's Everton are in talks with Coventry City over a deal for Victor Gyökeres. Coventry want £18 million, but Everton believe 15 million could be enough. That's from Footy Insider. Gyökeres is a fantastic player. I do believe that Coventry are under a transfer embargo right now, but I don't. I think that we still should be able to get the deal done. He's got 12 goals and 4 assists in 28 appearances for Coventry, and his numbers in 20. His numbers overall are fantastic. 3.76 shot creating actions is amazing for a forward. He's a really creative forward who can really suit a link up with someone like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 1.97 dribbles. He's a very creative striker, and he's shown that he has end product in that division. 12 goals in 28 appearances, nothing to sniff at all. And, so I think it'd be a really good signing for around 15 million. If we can get someone of his quality in, he could really, really do some stuff for us. And, giving Dominic Calvert-Lewin that strike partner to almost lead the load off his back may help with the injuries. We may get the best out of him, just like we saw the best out of Calvert-Lewin when he had Richarlison beside him. Having a player like Gyökeres to help with some of the creative duty up front too. I do think we still need to sign another winger, even if we sign Gyökeres, but that still gives us what? It gives us still around 20 odd million to play, 27 million, I think, to work with. If we're going off just the upfronts, about 22 million to work with the Anthony Gordon sale. But yeah, I think that'd be a fantastic signing if we sign him even for 18 million. I do think we should definitely look at Gyökeres and try to get it done as soon as possible, if I'm honest with you. And then we go to PSV did not come to an agreement with Everton in their attempts to sign Jared Branthwaite permanently. This will remain PSV's agenda for the next transfer window. Well, I don't really know what to think about that. I don't think that's the best of news to come around. I think Branthwaite's got a real future at the club, in my opinion, and I think it would be a mistake in letting him go. To be honest with you, especially since I can't imagine we'd get too much money for him right now from PSV. We want to be looking at big clubs coming in for him. If not, where we can get the big money. If not, I think you should stay. That is from at Rick Elfrink on Twitter. But yeah, I think Branthwaite should stay, and I think Branthwaite should be realistically a top contender to be starting alongside James Tarkowski next season. To be honest with you, I don't see any reason in getting rid of Branthwaite. He's young, he's developing, he's clearly doing well at PSV if they want to sign him in the future. But yeah, I'd be very surprised if we let him go this or next window, to be honest with you. We are also considering a move for West Ham defender Ben Johnson before the close of the transfer window. Dyche has sanctioned a move for the 23-year-old who can play right back and left back. I wouldn't be against that. Ben Johnson, he's a solid option. He gets the job done, and having some nice full-back depth would be nice. Behind Patterson, we've got Seamus Coleman, and behind Mikolenko, I don't even know we've got behind Mikolenko, to be honest with you. So it would really be nice, and I could see Ben Johnson possibly maybe playing at left back and taking Mikolenko's place. With his form hasn't been fantastic recently, and I could see Ben Johnson coming in to replace him. But I won't be against that if it's a cheap deal. I can't imagine West Ham will want huge money for Ben Johnson. So if we can get that done for a decent deal, also that is from @SportsPO on Twitter. But yeah, I think that's a deal we should definitely look at if we can get it for the right price. A really good utility player and someone who could get real use from Sean Dyche, and in general, I think having someone who can play at both fullback positions would be a real help for the club's, dwindling squad depth, or if we're looking at no depth in quality in depth, really. And the final piece of news today does come from @LadH, I think. Is that F? That's @LadH on Twitter. Everton are interested in signing Borussia Dortmund's Thorgan Hazard. PSV are also interested and are said to already be in negotiations. Good. Somehow 67% of fans have said yes to this. I really feel like that's because of the last name. I feel like if his last name wasn't Hazard, we wouldn't even... it'd be 99% no. We really do need wingers, and Hazard does have even Champions League quality. He's had really good seasons. I remember, I think it was 1920, he got 7 goals and 3 assists. But bringing him in my opinion, is just a huge mistake. I think it's just going to blow up in our face. No goals or assists in the Bundesliga this season, only 1 Champions League goal. The only good stats he has really are defensively. And if we're bringing in a winger because he has good defensive stats, that's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. If we could sign him for maybe 5 million or a ridiculously cut price free, I'd go for it. But with no fee out in the thing and our tendency to overpay for players like this, I'd say avoid at all costs and start looking for other wingers, because he's clearly not going to get the results if he's not scoring for Borussia Dortmund. He's definitely not going to score or assist for Everton. But that is all the news for today. If you did enjoy watching, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed and follow me on Twitter at Callum 3. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you for the next video. Bye, everyone.